Good morning. So if I look a bit frazzled, it's because I'm a bit frazzled. Not because I'm stressed or upset. I am just busy. And if you had as many projects going on around the world as I do, you might also feel a bit frazzled and all of that. I am kind of autistic. I am a little bit different because not only was I homeschooled, but I was kind of not schooled. I just kind of grew up with people that had a lot of intelligence around me. And early on, I found I was quite dyslexic and also some other learning disabilities. My son also has some of those and had to have special needs teachers and stuff like that. But these things can be used to an advantage point in some way because we have a hard time, and I have a hard time seeing this boundary line. It's way out here. I see outside of the box and outside of the box area, outside of the outside box area. I just have a hard time seeing limitations. And I really think that with God, all things are possible. And that if this is truly God's work, there's really no limit to what he can do. I don't see that there's a lack of money. I've always, for a long time, I've seen that the lack was people willing to do the Lord's work, that there wasn't a lack of money. And I think we need to do more and more with less and less. I know that's just a generic term that's been used in the past, but I really don't see that there's a problem with money. There are properties and houses and people with money all over the world that struggle to know what to do with either their property. Our family had property that we tried to find people who would run a ministry with it, and finally did. And there's a ministry going on up there in Platina. But years and years, we had this beautiful property, many houses on it, a big house, smaller houses and trailers and whatnot, and creeks and garden and stuff. But to find people who are suited for that place where they would actually do the work was the difficult thing. Not finding the money, not finding the house. So when it comes to Biliran Island, I'm going to explain to you. I talk about the beach children and mission. 18 years I've been working in the Philippines, 21 trips. We have our base in the outskirts of Manila, kind of near IS College, SSD headquarters, if anyone knows what that is, or AUP is not too far away, Adventist Union College, or university. Anyway, if I'm trying to remember what it stands for, it's basically for not a college, pre-college students. Biliran Island is a beautiful, pristine island. It's made it to the Guinness Book of World Record for the sweetest water in the world. When I arrived there, I arrived there before 5 years ago, but only about 5 years ago, we didn't have roads in a lot of areas. And I would call my wife and say, did they get a road in this area? Have they paved this area? They started paving the roads all the way around. And my wife last month got water at her parents' house, the first time they've had water to the house. Maybe not even really running water, not too much water coming out, but just access to water at the house. How did they get water? Well, they take 2 little jugs of water and they run up the mountain to a spring and they fill those jugs with water. So we started working on that side of the island where my in-laws are. And of course, that island is near and dear to me because that's the island my wife is from. And also, there was an emphasis put on that island way back in the 70s. The Assembly of God people got there. The Adventist people got there right after that. LDS people got there after that. And missionaries from different denominations started pouring in. So there's about 50 Adventist churches, I believe, on that island, something like that, or maybe even more, but between 45 and I think the last number I remember was 48, and I know of several more, at least, that have gone in since then. So it's really, we've had little projects all over the island, but when I started working on getting this boat to the little islands, we had built a boat which finally fell apart and got old. And it's just interesting because I'm a foreigner and I come from, outside of the island, and I'm going to try to keep this message a little bit short. It's 5.9 minutes. Um, the work just expands and you get involved and you just get so busy. And I started providing boat service to the pastors and missionaries, and then we needed a bigger boat, and it was so dangerous with no life jackets, and we'd get into big waves, and there's sharks, of course, in that water in some areas, where the channels are deeper and they go through. And I'm going across with these elderly ladies, and we're going to do a mission trip to do an evangelistic crusade and work with the children on another island. For example, the island's called Maripipi Island, and then there's Higatongan Island. We would go there, and I realized this is really a dangerous situation. What if the engine quit? I mean, I have no sail, and I'm just in this little engine. And I have a guy in the back who's bailing the water out because the water's filling up so fast, and the boat's only about this wide. And I asked these people, "Do you know how to swim?" No, and we don't even have flotation, and it's a several mile passage. So I decided we need a boat. So I started building this boat, and then a storm came. We needed a place for the boat. And so I started building the building that was a safe house for the harbor, kind of the harbor office place to manage the boat affairs going around to different islands. It had to be stormproof. And then that's taken so long because, not because of money, but because of not having workers and people who will do it really, needing American missionaries to go over there who I can communicate with. I like to talk fast, and it takes so long to communicate things with the local people. They're beautiful, wonderful people, but it takes a long time to get proper communication going. And so it became necessary that, because of the lands and the farming and the different projects that we started, we really needed a house. So an Adventist family that I know dearly, the husband died in his sleep, late 30s, very tragic thing. Son died, 16-year-old. Sad memories in that, I mean, happy memories in that house, but emotional going back. And we talked, communicated for about a year, and she decided to sell it to me for $6,000. So I used personal funds, and I worked hard, and I paid that off, and it's paid off in full. And now we are developing that. So that's what this thread is about, this particular thread. It's about the mission house there on the beach. It's a beautiful house. It's the best house on the beach, probably. And my wife is there now, and we've got Don. I appreciate him going there from Washington. I haven't met him yet in person, but he has been instrumental in helping get the deed to the house and bringing it back to America. And he's already sent that to me. He sent me a receipt of that sending. So we are there, and I have title to that house. And as an American, you can own a house, and the land, I've got a 50-year lease. I've got a 25-year lease renewable for another 25 years. So that place is now providing housing for missionaries, for myself, for other people who go there, while we're building the other places, because that's taking time to do. And then we don't have to pay for accommodations and in hotels and whatnot on the island. So you're all welcome to go there, and we have projects all over that island that serve different purposes. Sometimes you need up in the mountains for the farming, and you need a place to stay for the farmers. Sometimes you need